Jamie had always wanted a pet. His parents had never allowed him to have one, but for his 10th birthday, they finally caved. They promised him a trip to the pet store to pick out something small, a hamster, maybe, or a goldfish. But when they arrived at the store, Jamie's attention was immediately drawn to a small, dimly lit corner where a peculiar cage sat on a shelf. Inside was a strange creature he couldn't identify. It was small and round, covered in patches of uneven, bristly fur. Its wide eyes gleamed unnaturally bright, and it had tiny, clawed feet that gripped the bars of the cage with surprising strength. The store clerk seemed uneasy as Jamie approached. "What's this?" Jamie asked, peering into the cage. The clerk hesitated. "That's, something special. Not really for sale." Jamie turned to his parents, his eyes pleading. "Please, it's perfect." The clerk shook his head. "I wouldn't recommend it. It's hard to care for." Jamie's parents, eager to make him happy, offered the clerk extra money. Reluctantly, the clerk sold him the creature but warned him to follow some very specific rules. 1. Don't let it out of its cage at night. 2. Don't feed it meat. 3. And whatever you do, don't let it get wet. Jamie didn't think much of the rules. He was too excited to have a pet. At first, the creature, Jamie decided to name it Pip, seemed harmless, if a little strange. It made chirping noises that sounded almost like laughter, and it had an uncanny way of watching Jamie's every move. Pip quickly became the center of Jamie's attention. He'd carry the cage around the house, talking to it like a friend. His parents thought it was cute, even if Pip gave them the creeps. But things started getting weird after the first week. One night, Jamie woke to strange noises. It sounded like scratching, soft at first, then more frantic. He turned on his bedside lamp and saw Pip's cage shaking violently. "Pip," Jamie whispered, getting out of bed. The creature was clawing at the bars, its eyes glowing in the darkness. It looked bigger than before, and its fur seemed to ripple as though it were alive. Jamie remembered the clerk's warning and hurried to cover the cage with a blanket. The noises stopped immediately. When he peeked under the blanket a moment later, Pip was back to normal, blinking up at him innocently. The next day, Jamie fed Pip a piece of fruit, but the creature didn't seem interested. It stared at him, unblinking, until he offered it a slice of leftover steak. As soon as the meat hit the bottom of the cage, Pip pounced on it, tearing it apart with sharp teeth Jamie hadn't noticed before. That night, the scratching returned, louder this time. Jamie stayed in bed, clutching his blanket and praying for morning. The incidents escalated quickly. Pip's cage started appearing in places Jamie hadn't left it, on the kitchen counter, in the living room, even outside his bedroom door. His parents dismissed it as Jamie's forgetfulness, but he swore he wasn't moving it. One rainy afternoon, Jamie accidentally spilled a glass of water on the cage while cleaning it. Pip shrieked, a horrible, piercing sound that made Jamie's ears ring. The creature's fur sizzled where the water touched it, and it began to grow. Its body stretched and contorted, limbs elongating and claws growing sharper. Within seconds, Pip no longer fit in the cage. It snapped the bars with ease and leapt onto the floor. "Pip," Jamie whispered, backing away. The creature tilted its head, chirping softly. Then it bared its teeth, rows of sharp, glistening fangs. Jamie ran to his parents, but when they came to see, Pip was back in its cage, smaller than ever, looking as innocent as the day they brought it home. His parents scolded him for overreacting and told him to stop making up stories. That night, Jamie locked his bedroom door. At midnight, he woke to a low growling. His heart raced as he realized the sound was coming from inside his room. He turned on his flashlight and froze. Pip was out of its cage, standing at the foot of his bed. It was no longer small and harmless. It was as tall as Jamie, its fur matted and slick, its glowing eyes locked onto him. The creature opened its mouth, revealing too many teeth, and let out a guttural growl. Jamie screamed. His parents burst into the room moments later, but Pip was gone. The cage sat in the corner, empty. "Where is it?" Jamie sobbed. His parents searched the house but found no trace of the creature. They assumed Jamie had accidentally let it outside. But Jamie knew better. Over the following days, strange things started happening around the neighborhood. Pets went missing. Claw marks appeared on fences and doors. Jamie saw Pip in the shadows at night, watching him from the edge of the yard. Desperate, Jamie returned to the pet store to confront the clerk. But when he got there, the store was closed, the windows boarded up. A handwritten sign on the door read, "If you've taken it, it's too late. Get out while you can." That night, the scratching returned, this time at the window. When Jamie looked outside, Pip was there, but it wasn't alone. Dozens of glowing eyes stared back at him from the darkness. The last thing Jamie heard was the sound of shattering glass.